I made that happen for myself, lived in Hawaii for 6 months. My father had just passed away, so he left us money, so I went there and paid for my rent, and I had hula classes 4 times a week.
I used to tell myself that I was ugly, I had no value, I brought nothing into the world, I wasn't creative. I'm one of the most creative people I know now. Green to me represents so much growth and new life, and so I wear it when I'm traveling because I want the Lord to send me growth, new life, and new opportunities as I'm traveling in the sky.
I'm sure God just looks at us like, just get up off the floor and let's go. Before you really hurt yourself, throwing a tantrum.
Hello, hello, hello. We are back again. Triggered AF, the podcast. How are you, ladies?
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, I'm so excited about this interview. Y'all, you have no idea. So, Mikaela doesn't know this, but I am a firm believer in manifesting whatever it is that you want, right? I'm just a firm believer in it. So when I saw Dressed in Joy for the first time years and years ago, I was like, ooh, this brand feeds and fits my energy. When we started the podcast, I put you on my list of people to interview. And the first time that we had reached out, you were like, oh, things are really crazy right now. They're really hectic. We're busy. We can't, but please follow up. And so I was like, oh, great. She said yes.
Translation.
And so, that was a not right now, which understand, folks, when people tell you not right now, it means not right now. It doesn't mean you give up.
Yeah.
It means, okay, come back again later. So I was like, okay. So I put it on my list. And this time when we scheduled, I was like, okay, we scheduled our interviews for New York. I was like, oh no, I feel like it's time. I had just seen your post about shifting and changing and pivoting. And I was like, oh no, now is the time. Because when things are shifting and you're being repositioned, that is the perfect time to reflect on what brought you here and then what it looks like to move forward. So I was like, oh yeah, this is a triggered conversation. This is it. Yeah. This is it. And so when you said yes, I was like, oh my God, I did a little dance. I was so excited because I am overjoyed watching people go for it. Or believe differently or know that they can have something different. So y'all, hey y'all. We are here with Mikaela Pabon. Again, I am so thankful for just your time and your just calm spirit. Like, thank you for being here.
I'm so excited. Thank you for even thinking of me to be on the show.
Of course, we are excited. But before we dive on in, we have to initiate you.
Yes, not a hazing, an initiation.
You've been initiated into the TriggeredAF podcast family. There's only one question that we ask all of our guests, and it is the question that just kind of sets the tone. So outside of the titles and the accolades and you being a designer, just all of the fabulosity that you behold, who do you say that you are outside of all those things?
I would say that I'm a dreamer.
Oh, nice.
I'm a dreamer because from early on, I've always had these, I don't want to say wild, but just things that I felt like, oh yeah, that's my life.
That part.
Kind of like me with you saying yes, because I was like, oh no, it's a yes.
I always felt like, oh yeah, born and raised in Chicago, but always wanted to live in Brooklyn. Yeah. That's my life. I'm
absolutely excited.
I'm gonna have a husband. That's my life.
Yeah.
And those were like my dreams that I would just tell my friends and I would tell, or just tell myself. Yeah. And everything really has come to pass. All those dreams have come to pass. So it's a dreamer.
I already know that this is gonna be good, primarily because for way too many people, they believe like their path is already set.
Yeah.
And so dreaming isn't even something that they feel they can do because it's like, no, it's been decided, God or the universe has already set for me what I'm supposed to do and I just have to follow it. And for me, it's like, you can actually co-create. Like, you're not beholden. Like my aunt used to say when we were younger, you were born poor, you're gonna live poor, and you're gonna die poor. And even at 8 years old, I was just like, like that. I don't know if that works for me.
Suddenly will.
That's not, that doesn't, and, you know, I didn't know it resonated at 8, but that's definitely now, I'm like, that's literally what my little spirit said. I literally just told myself, I was like, no, that doesn't work for me. I didn't say it out loud to her, because you know, back then children are supposed to be seen and not heard. You open your mouth, you get popped in it. So I didn't say it out loud, but literally my little spirit was just like, I don't like it. I don't like that, that's not it. And so for you, what kind of inspired you to begin to co-create your life versus just going with whatever you were given? Because you said you've always been this way, so like what, was there a catalyst or was it just innate?
Okay, don't laugh at me.
I won't.
I can't promise I won't laugh.
Okay, so I loved Cinderella. That was one of my favorite Disney movies, right? So she sang, "A dream is a wish your heart makes. Anything you wish will come true." Like, girl.
That resonated.
That was it for me.
Girl, you believed it. Oh, that's awesome.
That's not funny. That's
I don't know, sure.
Cinderella, like,
Disney. I'm a Disney movie kid, so I watch Disney movies whether or not my daughter is with me. Don't judge me. Raya and the New Dragon, oh man, I was so excited for it to come out and to watch it. I was like, oh, this is my stuff.
I like that. So it really stuck with you.
it stuck with me. And then I didn't realize that it stuck with me, but I didn't realize it was like possible.
Yeah.
So like when I really figured that I could create the life that I wanted was when I was about 26 or 27. I wanted to live in Hawaii. I've been a Hawaiian dancer for all my life, pretty much when I was I started doing Polynesian dance. I thought I'm gonna live there for a while, and not for a long time, just
Just a little bit.
learn a little bit, perform around the island, do all these things. And I said that to myself. I told my mom. She's like my biggest supporter when it comes to dance.
Yeah.
And we went to a workshop, and one teacher was like, out of the blue, this was not a conversation that I had with him. He was like, you know what, if Mikaela ever told my mom, if Mikaela ever wants to spend time in Hawaii, I'd love to have her in my class. And he was like, my favorite. What? Famous all over the islands and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shoot, I gotta make this happen.
I gotta grow. Me too. The way has already been made.
Right, so I did it. I made that happen for myself, lived in Hawaii for 6 months.
How old were you?
I was like 27,
Wow.
27, 28. And I was there for 6 months. Didn't work. My father had just passed away, so he left us money. So I went there and paid for my rent, and I had hula classes 4 times a week.
That is amazing.
Islands.
Did exactly what you wanted to do.
But when we came to New York to perform for the Miss Manhattan pageant,
Yeah.
with my group from Hawaii. We came to New York. And at the time, our friend was having a housewarming party in Brooklyn. She just moved into her apartment. She's like, I'm going to wait until you come to do a housewarming party. Went to that, and I was like, oh, I'm moving to Brooklyn next.
Sure.
That's what's happening.
Decide.
So I came back, went back to Hawaii, moved back to Chicago in May. By August, I was living in my own apartment in Brooklyn.
Listen.
She's like, I decided.
So that's when, like, I'm like, okay, I can dream it and I can make it a reality.
Yeah, dream it and make it work. Like literally, I can dream it and work this thing out. Like I get to decide what my life will be. And so then it is a form of co-creation because it's like, okay, I've decided what I want my experience to be. And then literally, and I know people don't like the word universe, but literally the universe works in cahoots with you to create that. Because how are you supposed to know that the man would offer you the opportunity? All you did was put out your desire, kept working consistently at, getting better at your craft, and then the opportunity came.
Yeah, but a lot of times people will want these things and they dream, and then the dream is deferred, or the dream kind of dies with them or stays inside and it doesn't really go anywhere. And one of the things that I've learned, even through just some of these interviews that we've had, is a lot of people don't feel worthy of the things that they dream about. Yeah. They just feel like it's this far-fetched thing, or they feel like, or if they even get a little taste of it, they feel so unworthy that they will self-sabotage it, or they will destroy it. And then you're like, oh my God, I thought this is what you wanted. Then you finally get it. and you don't even know what to do with it. It happens in romantic relationships, it happens in business, it happens all the time. So I wanted to know if you had any insight around how do people kind of strengthen that self-worth muscle to be able to kind of bask in their things that they dream about. You know what I mean? Like, how did you learn to like, okay, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna know that I belong here and not have any kind of like doubt about who you are and who you're supposed to be?
I still struggle with that.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily in the career aspect. I always feel like I can get what I want. Career, love, whatever it is, I can get what I want. But for some reason, when it's like experiences or other people or maybe being in a room that maybe I don't feel like I belong in, that is where I struggle with worthiness. Being invited to this or that, I'm not that girl. Like I'm not really of that yet. And I don't know how to get past that part of it, but I know as far as like my career goes and it's like living the life that I want, I know it's possible because I tell myself it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm very clear on making sure that I talk to myself, Mikaela, you are worthy, you are good enough, you deserve. And I'm still working on that, on the other part of it. But I talk to myself often about that. And I have told my son to do the same because I noticed he's struggling a little bit with worthiness. So I've told him, like, you got to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Christian, you are worthy. Mikaela, you are worthy. You deserve this. You deserve.
Yeah, it's so important to even start them when they're young. I do that with my children. So my 3-year-old every morning has to say her affirmations. She has to say, I am pretty, I am smart, I am strong, I am kind to myself and to others, I am healthy. And she just, I've been teaching her that since she was like 2, so now it's just like every morning she says it, and I'm just like, God, what I have been already. Like I know I'll still be the things, but like how much easier would life have been if somebody would have told me to say that earlier? I didn't even know these things about myself.
Or you say it the way you believe it.
Well, her brain is literally going to be wired that way. Like she's not even going to know another way to think. Like they've done some studies about how much your parents and how they speak to you wires your like inner voice and the things that you say to yourself. So a lot of the things that you say to yourself is based on what your parents said to you. So I'm like, oh, well, I can take that and I can just hardwire her brain to believe these things,
Anything else anybody says is gonna.
It's just he's gonna be her. It's gonna be that doesn't even, that doesn't fit the wiring that was already here. So I love that you do that with your child, and and thank you for being vulnerable and honest that you're still working through pieces of it, because a lot of times once people see success, they think you have everything figured out.
Like all of it's perfect, and it's like. In this particular area, yes, there's progress.
Yeah.
However, in these other areas, that's where I'm still working. But that's the piece that people don't always tell themselves the truth about.
Yes, exactly.
Because of oh no, I'm supposed to just have it. And for me, I try to remove the should piece, because every time I say I should, it's usually something I don't want to do or don't believe in, and because I don't believe in it, I won't do it anyway. Does that make sense? Yeah. So for me, it's I've been working on I get to, or I'd like to, or not even I'd like to, I'm excited about, because I used to say I'm not good with consistency. And so the fact that we've even kept the podcast alive and thriving for 3 years, I was still saying I'm not good with consistency. And I was just like, okay, so now you're just lying to yourself.
I was like, oh, we're so consistent. Like, we're doing it, aren't we? Like, this is consistent.
Yeah. And so I changed it to, I am so excited to stay consistent with the things that light my soul on fire. Yeah. Telling yourself a different story helps you to then believe it again, because I used to tell myself that I was ugly, that I had no value, I brought nothing into the world, I wasn't creative. I'm one of the most creative people I know now. But I used to tell myself that I'm not creative. So what you say to yourself and the talking to yourself, talk to yourself the way you want someone to talk to yourself
nice.
Talk to yourself nice. Yeah. For people who struggle, I always tell them, talk to yourself the way you talk to the person you love the most. Like whether it's a man, a dog, a child, or whatever.
But sometimes for some people, they still don't talk to those people nice.
Oh.
So No, for real. It's just like some people don't even know what that looks like because they've never been spoken to nice by people who do love them.
I can see that.
You know, there are people who grew up in homes where like it didn't, you know this person loves you because they're supposed to, and then they still say all these horrible things to you. So I feel like some people don't even know what that looks like, unfortunately. For those people who don't even have an idea of what that sounds like, maybe pull from other sources in media or other people you know that have spoken to you in ways that may not be your family members, and kind of like, you know, kind of dissect that and keep that with you, because some of us, our internal dialogue is just so unhealthy. Yeah. So it's wonderful that you have, it seems like you have a naturally healthy internal dialogue. Would you say that that comes from your parents? Like, could you tie that in? Did you feel like your upbringing impacted some of the way that you've kind of managed your life? Good or bad?
I would say, okay, so my parents are great.
Always start with that.
Yeah, my mom is an angel runner. My dad, he was a great man also, very supportive. You know, he supported us in every single way possible, but not necessarily the most loving or like physically loving.
Oh, like affectionate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, honestly, never heard him say the words, "I love you." And me either. Loved me.
Yeah.
That's all he did for us.
Yeah. I didn't hear from like that either.
Yeah, so interesting.
Then grab.
I treat my children the way I want it to be treated. I give them the hugs and the love and the I love yous and all the things, but also make sure that they're supported and make sure that they're cared for, make sure that they have
You fill in the blanks.
treats. Yeah, it's kind of, I'm giving them childhood, not that I didn't have a great childhood, but I'm giving them the childhood that I would have really loved to have with all of the
with both. Yeah, like I don't want to choose. I want the support. I also want the emotional, physical type of really engaged experience when it comes to parenting. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because I didn't get that either. And I will say it has made it so hard for me to express and be that. Like I talk to Danny all the time. I'm like, no, I do it because I know it's needed and necessary. Like I touched my daughter a lot, like when she was much younger, so that she would be very loving, and now she is incredibly loving.
Yeah.
She's softer than I was and am. Just making sure that the things that I really wish I had had and that just came really easy to me, I wanted to make sure it was easy for her. It wasn't a fight or a battle that she had to overcome.
Yeah.
yes.
I wanted to make it easy for her.
And they didn't have to heal from.
Yeah, and it's not perfect. I am not perfect.
None of us are, especially as parents.
I be messing up all the time, guys. It is so.
It's the ghetto sometimes too.
Yeah, just a little bit. But it mattered that I wanted to make sure, like I said, that she understood that no matter what, I'm rocking with you. Come hell or high water, right, wrong, indifferent, I'm there. And I will also physically show up for you in the ways that matter. So yeah, it reminds me too, because when I would think back, I was like, dang, I had all these dreams, all these things that I wanted, all these things that, I thought would happen by a certain time. And that dream deferred type energy can feel like a mini death, like, oh my God, I'm dying. And it's that discouragement can trick you into thinking that, okay, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I am not, meant for more or deserving of more. So how have you been able to persevere in the face of disappointment, of transition, of the pivot? Like, what is that like?
There's been a lot of disappointment recently. Yeah. But I just, goes back to Cinderella. I was looking through my Facebook memories yesterday, and there was a quote that I shared 14 years ago yesterday. And it was something like, you are not given a dream that you are not also able to, or given the power to make it come true.
Absolutely.
I really love that too.
And so that's just kind of what it is for me. I, at 8 years old, wanted to be a designer.
Really?
And I talked myself out of it, like, oh, girl, you can't draw. Your dad's not gonna send you to school for drawing. Like, just the whole thing. Talked myself out of it, never really thought it could happen for me, but I just kept finding myself trying to figure out, how do I get into fashion? Maybe I can be a stylist. Maybe I can just have a boutique. Maybe I can do a fashion website. Maybe I can just kept trying to figure out ways. And it wasn't until
How to get back to it.
I was actually designing things that it actually popped off.
So you had to do it before you became it. Ooh, that's good. That's real good.
Before I became me, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just know that I wouldn't have this dream if it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
The fact that I wanted to live in Brooklyn, and I lived in Brooklyn in a brownstone like I always wanted to live in.
Yeah.
With a family. Oh, I had a random story that I just thought about, and as a dream of mine, when I was a small girl. Yeah, I wanted to have a pet. I wanted to have a dog. Dad didn't want any pets in the house. We could have fish. We could have anything. Not even the fish. And I told myself that when I'm older and I have kids, I'm gonna have a son, and we're gonna get a dog when he's like a year old, so they can grow up together. I have an 11-year-old son and a 10-year-old dog. And I didn't realize it until maybe 3 or 4 years into us having the dogs. I'm like, holy crap, this is something that you actually said was gonna happen. Yeah. And it happened.
I love that.
So it's like, I never let go of the dream. If they're in here still, then that means I gotta keep pushing to get it out. Yeah. They're in here for a reason.
Because I feel like it'll torment you when you ignore the dreams that you're supposed to have. Everything will frustrate you. Like I was talking to my sister the other day, and she was like, you keep getting into these positions where, yes, it'll provide things for you financially, but you get so irritated with the process because you're doing things that you're not supposed to do. So maybe you should just do the thing that you're supposed to do and do it long enough that you figure out how to monetize it in a way that it supports and sustains your lifestyle. I was like, first of all, you want to cuss me out like this.
But what does that look like, though? And Mikaela, you can answer this. Like, what does it look like to start to take your dream and make it profitable? Like, what do you feel like that journey has been like? Because you can dream and have this dream and it's a hobby, and then that's just what you do, and it may be an outlet for you. But you still have to do other things to sustain your lifestyle because you haven't figured out how to make it profitable. What do you feel like that was like for you?
For me, it was not fulfilling something just for myself, but also for other people. So Dressed in Joy isn't just for me. Even though I design for myself, it's not just for me. It is for women like me who love to get dressed and may not have a whole lot of time. They want to look cute. They want to feel comfortable. They want to be confident. And the easiest way you do that is to wear something that makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I just design things for myself that make me feel good, and I know it's going to help other women feel good. And that is where the profitability comes in, because I am serving people, and
Fulfilling a need.
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't expect. I want to say no. I didn't expect that designing clothes would be so fulfilling. Like I did a live yesterday, random live, just kind of explaining things about our business and why we do things a certain way. And it turned out to be people hopped on the live to chat with me and tell me about how I've changed their lives and how what you're doing is bringing me so much joy, and don't stop. Like the encouragement, I was just like, right on the internet again. Like, I didn't expect this, y'all. Like, I was just trying to tell you about my business, and you're over here like filling me.
I wear your designs, like I've worn them in Singapore, like when I travel, because I travel literally on a plane like every other week. I wear many of them and people will stop me, what are you wearing, what you got on? And so I'll tell your story, especially when I fly JetBlue, I'm like, yo, no, listen, she used to work at JetBlue and then she stopped to become a designer, like go to her page, this is where you go to. I'm like an unofficial mascot and ambassador. And it's usually the green, because I feel like green today. Green to me represents so much growth and new life. And so I wear it when I'm traveling because I want the Lord to send me growth, new life, and new opportunities as I'm traveling in the sky. And then I'll be manifesting in the sky. I know I'm weird, y'all. I just be doing the most. A little too deep sometimes. But for me, like, it means something. So when you named it Dressed in Joy, so my joy's name is Eddie. I named my joy so that whenever I call him the name Eddie, it brings me back to the feelings that I curated and crafted when I think of that name. Because sometimes life can get heavy, right? It can get really, really heavy, especially with all of the changes and movements and everything else. And so what does it look like to bring yourself back to joy? And so what is it that you do? Because life does get a little heavy, a little hectic, and there are pains sometimes, especially when you're, fulfilling your dream, taking it from your head to your hands. So what do you do to bring yourself back?
I dance.
Let's do. That's pretty strong.
Sheila's weight is, which you should do too.
I'm trying to be softer.
You can be strong, like toilet paper. Which one's talking strong? You can be like sorry.
We're gonna have to name your strength, man. Okay? Soft and strong. You can be both.
That's so funny. But yeah, I dance. It always kind of centers me and brings me back to joy every single time. Even if it's just listening to Hawaiian music. I'm not in the place to dance, if I'm in the car or something, or I just have a little bit of joy. I just put on my Hawaiian music and it just takes me.
Oh, I like you feel better. Does it also help you with creativity as well? Like, is dance and music a part of just like kind of tapping into that energy?
Yeah, because a lot of my designs are inspired by just Hawaii and the tropics.
It kind of makes sense looking, like now hearing this backstory, it makes sense that the colors and the vibrancy and.
Because we were performed in like a bright red costume with yellow florals on it, or like always color, always a bright red lip, like just always bright and bold, and beautiful brown skin.
Oh, and that's the best. Yeah. I just feel like Black women belong in color.
Always.
Yeah,
That's just kind of how my joy of color manifested itself into Dressed in Joy, because my name is Jordan, first of all. Now, but I just have such a joy for color and prints and putting them together that it just turned into
perfect. Yeah. What has, and just a little bit, kind of just as a little nugget, like what has it been like as a Black woman in fashion? We spoke to Andrea Osei, a bridal designer yesterday, luxury bridal designer yesterday, and she was, so we got a little fashion in this season, a lot of fashion, and we love fashion, so it makes sense now, but she was talking about a little bit of the struggle, and just when she goes to like these showcases or fashion shows, she's like one of a handful, especially in the bridal space. So what about that for you? Like, has that been trying, or do you feel like you've just kind of been able to kind of push through?
bubble. Okay. I always told myself that I don't need to go the traditional route in order to be successful. I don't need to go the traditional route in order to be recognized as a designer or any sort of way. I think part of that might be just the fear of not being
like worthy in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm just gonna do it my own way. I'll just do it my own way. And I have. So I don't really concern myself with accolades or, making sure I'm recognized by this person or that person, because when customers recognize me, and that's like, they recognize the brand, they love the brand, and I feel like that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is to have people that not buy you one time, but they buy from you 5 and 6 times, and they tell everybody when they're wearing you. Like,
Yep.
that is the most important thing to me, not necessarily what Vogue or whatever else says about my brand.
Yeah. I love that, because definitely, like, I have a pink outfit, the pink jumpsuit. My sister, I bought her one too, so we could, be twinsies when we're going on our trip, like we're going to Costa Rica. I was like, dang, I gotta see if I can get my daughter a pink. I don't even know if you still got the pink. That's what I'm saying. Yes. I want a pink too. Can I get a pink? You would get a pink too. You would get a pink too. I think I want us to get a purple. We gotta get a purple. Like that. And then when you come out with an orange, because TriggeredAF is orange, we gotta get an orange then.
You had an orange. Maybe I need to just bring that back.
You should. We could put the link like, hey, get the special. We don't necessarily gotta put TriggeredAF on it, but we gonna say, hey, we inspired. Okay, a little pin to put on it. TriggeredAF. There we go. Oh, I like that.
The butterfly.
Yes, as seen also they know. This is where you get this one. You know what's funny? Is so I said I wasn't gonna tell you, but now I'm gonna tell you because you gotta talk about your dreams out loud. We are working on an event called Just Thrive Fest. And last year, we wanted to do it, and it became a dream deferred. There were so many blocks, issues. Like every time we thought, oh, we're making a little progress, we get knocked back down. And so we were just like, okay, maybe it's not the time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's pause. On the vision of what we wanted the event to be, I said I wanted Dressed in Joy to collaborate with us to create a line that folks could purchase while at the event and throughout the event. She better say this. Because I'm like, it just I'm so big on finding your joy and intentionally creating a life that feels.
Yeah, that's what the Just Thrive Fest is. Like, it is about like just Black women specifically, all women, but my heart is for Black women. Like, that's just what it is for me. And there's just so much joy that we've been robbed of in so many different ways for such a long time.
Yeah,
for generations. Just to kind of see this generation of women kind of just being like even you just say like, no, I've been strong for a long time. I want to be soft, like soft like me, please. Like I need gentleness. Like just knowing that we're worthy of those things is like, I want everyone to experience that. Like I just feel like we deserve, like we need to know that like, we can tap into joy and that it's okay for us to be there. It doesn't have to be like the scary place because it's a scary place for some people.
Yes, so for people who are only used to trauma, like for people who are only used to trauma or only used to being activated by their triggers, joy feels so far out of reach for them. And so I wanted to partner with you for Dressed in Joy to show them that, hey, from the outside in, joy can become your default.
Yeah, that could just be where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just, y'all heard, this said let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna definitely call it Michigan. Okay, I'm like, okay, Kyra, I'm like,
yeah, because a lot of times we are so big on looking for like these luxury labels. We're not created by people who look like, care about, invest in, and want us into their clothes. And we feel like that is going to validate us and bring us a false sense of joy, right? Or we start to feel like we're better than.
Whole sense of inclusion.
Yeah, which is so not
or
real.
your worthiness, like, oh, I'm worthy now because I can wear this. It's like, no, honey, I'm fine as ever in my Dressed in Joy.
So my husband works in fashion. My husband has a clothing line. Yeah, with his partner. It's called Fly Supply. And it's like an athleisure, like urban wear, like brand. And I have always just admired how much he wears his stuff. And he might go a little Gucci, a little something there. But for him, it's just like, no, like this is something we created. And when we go out and we see other Black people in their clothing, and it's just like, I want Black people to have a heart for that. And I want that to be the focus, because what is better than wearing the things that your people create and create with you in mind? Like, who is creating for you in mind? Who is creating for your body type and your, you know what I mean? That you're gonna have your skin color. Like that for me is just, those are the things that I feel like needs to be a part of the conversation. Yes, the deeper things. Yes, all the things, the healing, all of that. Like, we got to. But can we also be cute, dressed in designers who look like, care about, want to make sure they're invested in us as a people? Like, that for me is, yeah, that's a lot. I need that too. Like, I want all the things. I like the fashion, but it's just, we don't even think about, these people who we have on our backs that just, and it's a few, and I like it and I have it, but sometimes but sometimes it's just like, wonder. I know, I'm wearing my clothes.
Pretty much every day.
Yeah, as you should.
As you should. As you should. So, okay, so for now, because we don't got the oranges yet, we're gonna get us a purple, and then I'm gonna get Naya a pink so she can wear it when we travel. So all three of us can be in pink.
Yeah, support Black designers, always. Always is. It's so important. So really quickly before we go, Alicia and I were talking through, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on the podcast was talking through how you used to work at JetBlue. I don't know what the technical term was, like on the red, but what was the technical term of your
I
position?
worked in corporate.
Okay.
And I had a few jobs. I was like a data analyst for a while. I did auditing. So I have pictures of me on the ramp because I was doing audits all over the system. So I travel really flew. I do audits for the ground and for the airport just to make sure that they were performing all their operations according to
standards.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did right. So we want to talk about that a little bit because there are so many people who are in those positions where I have a dream, but I don't really know how to get to it. And I also need to feed my family.
Yeah.
And I haven't figured out the monetization part we were talking about before. So I wanted to know, what would you say to that girl, like that woman who was working in this space and had this thing that she wanted to do? Like, what would the conversation be to her now based on where you are today?
I would tell her that it's all working out for your good.
Yeah.
Everything. This job that you don't like, this job that you wanted that you didn't get, all of it is working out for your good because I had to take the audit job because another team that I was on was being dismantled. Hated my boss, hated the job, but I was like, you know what, I get to travel, I'm learning more about the system and all that stuff, and I applied for another job. Didn't get it. A year later, I found out that the team that I applied for, the whole team was let go.
Oh, wow. So it really is all working out for you.
Oh, it always is.
Because a year after that was when COVID hit, and I was able to retire because I'd been there for 10 years. So had I gotten that other job, would have been let go, wouldn't have been able to retire. Right now I have lifetime benefits. I know it's flight benefits.
What else?
Got a nice little retirement package, and that is what really helped me push forward and start this dream. So it's like all working out for your good. Every little step.
Yeah, even when it feels like it's not.
Yeah, I think especially when it feels like it's not. It's like before we started filming, we were speaking and you were saying that you were checking out TriggeredAF and you came across the post where I was saying, like, sometimes when you're being pulled back, you're really being put in position so that you can be thrust forward. So that you can hit your target. So listen, even understanding like, okay, this feels like, yo, how we going backwards? We were supposed to be moving forward. But it's like, don't see those backward moments or those pivots or transitions as, oh, my life is over or it is done. See them as, oh no, I'm just being put in position. Yes. Because that framing and how you see it and how you talk to yourself really does determine what your experience will be.
Throughout us,
We don't see it. No, we can't see the big picture. We see, right, what's in front of us. We have no idea where God is putting us so that we can get to the next place. And I see my entire life that way. Like, I look back on it like, oh my God, he really moved me to Chicago so I could do this. He moved me back to New York so I could meet my husband. He moved me back, like, it's wild when you look into your whole life and all these things that changed. And like, oh, this happened because of that, and this happened because of that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's really amazing.
You know what helped me understand that a lot? Parenting. Like, throughout parenting, there's these moments that happen where I'm just like looking at my child, especially my 3-year-old, who we were talking about, my, intense, brilliant girl who challenges me and triggers me in so many ways. But sometimes, I will do something that I know is for her good, and she is resisting me so much. And one day, something happened, and I took something from her because I knew that if I didn't take it from her, it would eventually harm her, right? Because I'm very allow children to do dangerous things safely. Like, that's kind of how my brain works. Where it's just like, let me see what you gonna do. But then it had gotten to a point where oh, you're gonna poke your eyes out. So, and I know her father is very not with that. So I do try to honor him as well, like in what he thinks should happen. But I do kind of let her, like go over the line a little bit. I'm big on cartwheel a little bit over the line. So I take it from her and she loses it. Like I'm talking about, like you would have thought I just took like the most precious diamond, like just lost her mind, and she throws very intense throw on herself on the floor. She flops like a fish out of water. It's a lot going on, and I'm watching her, and I literally had this moment. I was like, I wonder if I look like this to God sometimes. Like I wonder if there are these moments in life that God is like, but no, I'm doing this because you're gonna get hurt.
You about says you.
And then I'm just watching her, and I'm just like, I'm sure God just looks at us like, girl, just get up off the floor, let's go. Before you really hurt yourself, go with a tantrum.
Oh my God.
And it was just like this moment I had, and I was just like, there's so many moments in life, and she doesn't even know why I took it from her, and she doesn't know what I just saved her potentially from.
You got 2 eyes now because of me.
Because I took this from you, and it's like I wasn't trying to punish you, and it felt like a punishment for her. I wasn't trying to tell her that she wasn't good enough for it, because she's too good to have this. I don't want you to get hurt. And I just sat there and I let her go through her tantrum, and I was just like, you can't have this, but you can have this. And I gave her a different toy. And I was like, oh my God, this is like God. Like, I think so much of parenting is supposed to, if we allow it to help us understand the way God sees us. Because there's nothing that I do for my daughter that's not out of love. Even if in the moment I know it'll cause her discomfort, and there are moments that I even have to allow myself to allow her to be uncomfortable because I know it's for her greater good. So anyways, that just came to me, but it's something
that just touched my stove. Yes. That one will preach right now.
Oh yeah, it's like I have those moments I was just like, wow, this is parenting.
I have chills that was so good.
Really? Oh, thank you guys, but I just wanted to share that. Well, because I remember just having the moment, I was just like, be more patient, like with God, like His intentions and what is there for you is always going to work. Everything works for your good.
As it is, as frustrating as it is, it's always going to work.
Always, because the Creator, the whatever you believe in, I hope whatever you believe in, it loves you and wants the best for you, just like you do, hopefully, for your children.
That was so. I just got to take just a 5-minute. 5 seconds. We only got 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, but like a 5-second, like just to sit in that. Because what? I wonder if this is how I look to God.
Yeah. Throwing yourself, losing it.
Like I wanted to marry him. I wanted the job. I wanted my soul.
Hey, bro, let it go.
Calm down. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I got something better for you.
Guess what? I'm fine.
Oh, no, you're better.
You're more than, because the stress, the weight, it's like I didn't need you to be like that, because for where I'm taking you, you can't carry all these bags.
Yeah.
Your hands are too full. I need to free your hands up for what I have for you next. Once I came into that understanding, and Danny was saying, so Danny and I, we speak a lot about just kind of the full gamut and range of our feelings, emotions, experiences, all the things, because I can be 100% myself, even the things that I'd be embarrassed to say out loud. I know I can tell her, and she'd be like, "Nah, I don't know if you were supposed to do that, but I can see why." I can see why. It's not like oh yeah, girl, let's sign on to my bullshit. But it's okay, I can see how, but I really don't think that's the best idea. So for 2 years, I was going through major financial troubles. I mean major. I know she was probably sick of me because I was always cycling in and out of this like deep depression because I felt so bad about not being able to care for my child, not being able to pay my rent. Like for 2 years, my sister took care of my rent for me because I was just trying to figure out my life. And I kept cycling in and out of depression, in and out of depression. And she would say it lovingly, but like, I'm excited to see you on the other side of this when you finally kind of get it, that it's gonna be all right. Like, you're gonna be fine.
Be all right, girl.
And once I finally got to the other side of it and I experienced a slight financial issue, I didn't cycle because I had finally come to the understanding that it wasn't that I couldn't pay my rent, it was just that I had been strong for so long and God needed to give me a reprieve. So for 2 years, he let me relax while still being taken care of because I had done so much already. And just like I said, with the table that I thought was bolted down, but
There was a way.
there was a way. And I was taken care of the entire time. And it was the rest that I kept saying I needed. And I didn't even realize, genius, you asked for a break. You got a break for 2 years and you lost nothing. The car stayed paid, the rent stayed paid, the child's expensive private homeschooled service stayed paid. Like, you grew in every aspect. So what you thought was a punishment was really me giving you what you had asked me for, which was a break.
It's true.
Because you were tired. You said you needed help, so I gave you help, and then you complained half the time. What is happening? He saw you spoil, I was spoiling. And he like, calm down, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Oh, this has been so good. Like, so good. My last question, though, is around when you dream big, that can sometimes terrify those closest to you because it means we may go through some discomfort, some change. We'll have you on the floor wailing like, no, please give me back. So how have you, or maybe what would you even suggest that folks do when they are deciding, oh no, this big dream, this big vision, this big goal, not only am I going to believe it's possible, but I'm going to believe it's possible for me, and this is how I want to bring you or incorporate you into it. What would you suggest, or how would you suggest we do that for us dreamers?
Ooh, I don't even know. Honestly, my husband is also a dreamer, but he's also seen what I'm trying to build. He's seen it before. He's seen people build a brand from nothing into millions. So he knows it's possible.
Yeah.
And he's just always been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest support, my biggest everything. He's everything. And I think for me with the kids is I never had a vision of somebody else running their own business, doing what they love, making money from it, an entrepreneur. Never seen any of that growing up.
Yeah.
So I want my children to see that and to see for themselves that they can do whatever they want to do. So it was important for me to include them into it, like with Christian designing his own hoodie, with Elle being in videos if she wants to be, whatever it is you want to do, I got you. I support you with that.
Yeah.
And then you can know that, man, I can do whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But for other people struggling with maybe their family members or friends seeing their vision, you just have to believe it for yourself. You push at it so that they can then see, man, she really believes in that. She's really working hard. That she must really be good, or she must really believe that this is gonna be.
Yeah, this is possible.
She's working so hard at it. Just keep plugging away and working, and as long as you believe in it, get other people to like come on board and come on board. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Listen, this conversation was everything.
Oh gosh, it was so good.
Everything.
Thank you so much. So where can our people stay connected? Where can they purchase? How can we stay in touch with you?
So I have 2 Instagram accounts. My business, this is what I'm wearing, it's Dressed in Joy. So you can find me at Dressed in Joy. And our website is dressedinjoy.com. And my name is Mikaela Pabon, and that is Mikaela.Pabon on Instagram.
Nice. Okay. I am the Danny Bordeaux at the Danny Bordeaux on Instagram. You can go to TriggeredAFpodcast.com. You can go to @TriggeredAFPC on Instagram, and you can go to TriggeredAFevents.com to stay in touch with all the things that we have coming to a city near you.
Yes, and you can find me everywhere, anywhere at Alicia Reese. That's spelled ALECHIA. Last name Reese, REESE. I am so very excited to stay connected. Make sure you share this conversation, subscribe, all the places in which you listen to podcasts, because we are everywhere. But somebody who is struggling with transforming their dream needs to hear this one. Don't let them miss out on this one. It is your responsibility now to share this, to help them to take their dream from their head to their hand. And until next time, bye.